week of March 20th, 2022. This is MoJoWeekly. I'm John.
Though evil endures and legends don't die, a hero exists in a blink of time's eye. Jash.
Jash. All right, Jash. Here's your news. We got a lot this week, so I'm going to try to burn through it. This is out now. Yeah, this is out now as we're recording. The new booster course pack for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch is out. It's out.
Neato.
They just kind of were like, hey, by the way, it's coming out tomorrow. Nintendo didn't really give any advance notice, which was kind of interesting.
So
weird. But cool. I'll take it. So for those unfamiliar, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or 8 Deluxe's booster course pass will consist of 6 waves of 8 courses each. So a total of 48 courses. This first one looks like it has about, 8. Yeah, 8, which is what I just said. But anyway, so wave 1 includes, which is out now, includes 2 new cups, Golden Dash Cup and Lucky Cat Cup. And these are from Mario Kart Wii, Mario Kart 64, Mario Kart 7, Mario Kart 3DS, Super Circuit, and DS, as well as Mario Kart Tour on mobile. And that's cool because, despite me being a mobile game, there are actually some kind of neat courses on Mario Kart Tour on the phone. So the courses are Paris Promenade from Mario Kart Tour, Toad Circuit from Mario Kart 7, Choco Mountain from Mario Kart 64, Coconut Mall from Mario Kart Wii. And then the next course, or the next cup, has Tokyo Blur from Mario Kart Tour, Shroom Ridge from the DS version, Sky Garden from Super Circuit, and Ninja Hideaway, once again from Mario Kart Tour. So the booster course pass costs $25, and you can purchase it on the eShop. Or if you're a sucker like me and has the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, you get it for quote unquote free.
Ooh. The really awesome Nintendo Online thing, yeah.
Yeah. And one cool thing worth noting is if you don't want to buy it and you don't have the Nintendo Pass expansion pack, you can play with a friend who has that stuff and get access to those courses on multiplayer. So if you're playing multiplayer with me, for example, Josh, and you don't have any of those courses will pop up. You can play. We can play them together, Josh.
Well, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. So speaking of Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, which might be one of the worst names for a product ever, but also out now are 3 new games in the Sega Genesis library for that service. Ooh. So these might interest you. Let's find out. Super Fantasy Zone.
Nice.
Everybody likes a little Fantasy Zone, a little Opa action. Right?
A little bit of Opa never hurt.
That's what I always say during sex. I'm like, Opa.
A little Opa never hurt. That's what
Alien Soldier.
Really I'm terrible. I'm terrible at Fantasy Zone, like the game, and in general, I'm just not good. I'm not a good player at it.
I think with a little practice, you'd be just fine.
Yeah, I guess. Do I want to put the time into it? I want to?
Yeah. I like the look of Fantasy Zone games. I've got the Fantasy Zone collection on PS2, the Japanese PS2. Okay. And so every now and then I'll pop it out just because I love the bright, fun colors and stuff, and it's a charming little game.
Same.
But I've never been crazy about it. First time I played it was on TurboGrafx, and I was like, it's all right. It's like a very cute Defender,
Yeah. About the most I ever played of Opa was that Sonic Racing, which was the one on the 360 and the PS3, where you could unlock Opa, and you can also unlock the forklift from Shenmue.
Yeah.
That's some fun shit right there.
Yeah, that is a great game. That is an amazing game.
It really is.
The other games are Alien Soldier and Light Crusader. So Alien Soldier, cool game from Treasure. Tough as balls. Just super tough. It's like a run and gun where you have to just beat like a bunch of bosses. It's basically like, I don't know, kind of like a boss rush, 25 bosses, I think, something like that. But really cool. And then finally, Light Crusader, which is an isometric adventure. I feel like we've talked about this game recently, or at least like a game in the series. I don't know. I can't remember. I
Could
feel like
be. Could be.
maybe it was Pickle Friction. I don't remember. Either way,
Mm.
it's not a great game. Like Crusader, I don't feel like it. It's just kind of all right, kind of
Okay.
okay. And then
Just kind of okay.
so that means that there are now 23 Sega Genesis games included in the online expansion pass.
Nice.
Next up, Josh, this one's just for you. Moss Book 2 will launch on March 31st for PlayStation VR.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
exciting. I actually really love Moss, so.
Yeah, Moss 2 builds upon the story set forth in the first game. Having rescued her uncle Argus, Quill's adventure continues with the revelation that a winged tyrant is hunting her within the hexed castle where her uncle was held captive. So, just more mouse adventures for you.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious if that'll be available on anything else, or if I have to wait to get the PSVR at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at least for now, it's probably just like a launch exclusive, and then maybe it'll come to like Quest or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that. Are they? Did they change the name to Meta Quest now? I've seen
Oh yeah.
ads for Meta Quest.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not even Oculus anymore.
No,
Oh
it's the
God.
Meta Quest, my friend.
Jesus.
Meta
How
Quest.
pathetic. How pathetic.
Fucking douchiest goddamn company on the planet.
It is. It is. It's so meta.
So anyway, next up, I figured since it is Intergalactic Shmappreciation Month, we'd throw this one in there. There is a new game coming out, a bullet hell dungeon crawler. So not exactly a shmup; it's more like a run and gun bullet hell kind of thing. But
Oh sure.
we'll squeeze it in. It's called Wildcat Gun Machine, and it's coming out to pretty much all consoles on May 4th. It's an
Wildcat Gun Machine.
Yeah. You want to hear some description of this game?
Please.
It looks pretty neat.
Please do. I'm sure it looks great.
It is an explosion roller coaster ride. Enter a bullet hell dungeon crawler where you take on hordes of disgusting flesh beasts with a wide variety of guns, giant mech robots, and cute kittens. Explore sprawling maze-like dungeons and liberate giant mech robots from demonic elder gods, etc., etc. 40 types of guns to shoot from. Epic set-piece boss battles. Unique 2D art style, according to them. And, your skills upgrade to... you can upgrade your skills to suit your play style. So, it looked pretty neat, so I thought I'd throw it in the news here.
Well, sounds interesting.
And then this final bit of news, Josh, is one that I'm pretty pumped about. Not sure if you ever played the game Until Dawn on the PS4.
I have not.
I highly recommend it. It is
Until Dawn, huh?
Until Dawn, and you can get it for dirt cheap. It's always under $10, and it is an incredible horror game that is in the vein of like an '80s slasher kind of, where there are a bunch of kids and they're on a mountain. They're at a mountain lodge, and all of a sudden, people start getting murdered and stuff. It's a wonderful game. Dave and I played through the whole thing. We streamed it because Dave's a big baby when it comes to horror movies and horror games. So we thought it'd be super funny to make him play through it with, online while everybody watches. So anyway, Until Dawn, the same developers, Supermassive Games, revealed their next project, which is called The Quarry, and is also a teen horror game that, much like Until Dawn, stars an ensemble of Hollywood actors. So they're like, face captured and everything. Until Dawn had the dude who played Freddie Mercury, and he played, I forget his name. He played
or Mr. Robot or something like that.
Yep, Mr. Robot. He played the big baddie guy in the latest Bond movie. He was in it.
Oh, right on.
This one has David Arquette, Justice Smith, and let's see. There's somebody else. God damn it, I forget. That was actually like a pretty big name, and I was like, wow, but I'm not seeing his name on here. Anyway, The Quarry imagines a summer camp experience gone horribly wrong, where 9 playable teenage counselors of Hackett's Quarry summer camp find themselves hunted by sinister locals and a deadly predator. It looks just like Until Dawn, and that's all I care about, because that game was great. And they also released an Until Dawn VR game that was basically like a carnival ride where you're like on a roller coaster and you're going through areas. It was like a light gun game, super fun for PlayStation VR. So I am excited for this. It comes out on June 10th on PlayStations, Xboxes, and PC.
Very cool.
Yeah, excited for that. So, Josh, lots of news this week. So that is the news. Let's move on to the new releases. Some good stuff this week, man. We're gonna backload it. We're gonna start slow and crescendo.
Oh,
yeah, it's
I
called
like that.
production value, right?
I like that.
Yeah. Keep the audience.
You sound like you're a music major or something.
Keep the audience like on the tip of their toes or something.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, so we're going to start with Kraken Academy, which is for the Xboxes and the Switch. Never heard of it. Rune Factory 5 for the Switch.
Oh, wow.
A Memory Blue for everything. Or sorry, a Memoir Blue for everything.
Oh.
Also never heard of it. The Ascent, which was out for Xbox and I think PC several months ago, now makes its way to the PlayStation family. So if you don't have an Xbox, you can play the Ascent, and it's a fun little game. I like it. Also on Game Pass.
Is it the sequel or the antithesis? Is that the word I'm looking for to the old Descent game?
It is not. It is not. It's very much like a sci-fi cyberpunk kind of game, like top-down run gun kind of thing with like RPG elements. Got a little bit of Diablo vibe to it, but in space. Really cool. I liked it a lot. Really neat game. Ghostwire Tokyo is out already. I can't believe it. Again, we talked about this last week. I have no idea what this game is. Like it looks
Sounds
like
cool.
Yeah, it looks like a very stylish Japanese action horror game that takes place in Tokyo, and I'm cool with that, but probably going to wait for a discount on this one for me. Comes out to PlayStation 5 and PC. And then Tiny Tina's Wonderlands finally comes out, so hopefully I don't have to see another trailer for this at any sort of game event, because every game event they're like, hey, it's Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and I'm like, I don't care. But coming out for the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC. And then finally, also very surprising to see this one coming out already. It's like time's moving fast, man. Kirby and the Forgotten Land on Switch, which
wowza.
There's a demo out on your Switch. It's a simple demo, it's very easy. It's a Kirby game, right? So the demo's pretty breezy, but it's a 3D action Kirby game taking place in kind of a post-apocalyptic world, which is weird.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah,
I
picking
think
that
that's
one
neat,
up.
and that's the where he can use the eat everything mode or whatever it is.
Yeah, he turns into a car. He inhales a car and he drives around. He just inhales like a light bulb and he lights up a room. That kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. It's a nice little twist, because I don't know. It's been a long time since a Kirby game's really been really stood out from the ones prior to it.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, cool. I already know how to play this.
Yeah.
Oh, there's new abilities. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. They don't.
So it's nice.
Other than graphical style, they don't really mix up the formula for Kirby games very often.
No, not really.
I'll be checking this out. All right. We're going to mix up the formula a little bit now. Hey-o, professional style segue there. And go over to Dale and his retro recap.
What's up, MoJoWeekly listeners? This is Dale, and welcome back to this week's recap of the latest retro re-releases, remasters, and remakes. As always, credit for this goes to GSK from Retronauts.com, StrictlyLimitedGames.com, and LimitedRunGames.com. Before we get started, here's the latest on Shmup Appreciation Month. Make sure to check out the Twitch channels for John, Josh, Pickle Friction, and myself for Shmup live streams for games this past week, like Bats Again, Life Force, Thunder Force 5, Pro Gear, 1944, and so many more. I'm also still running the weekly high score chase challenges. We had a ton for Raiden last week, and this week we are currently doing Giga Wing with a flurry of high scores coming in, and still a couple days left to post your high scores with 1 credit by the time this airs. Also worth noting, coincidentally hitting Steam just a few days ago, is a Mario Maker of sorts for shmups called Shmup Creator. Goes for $63, but the initial batch of user reviews are all positive, so check that out. You can find links for all this Shmup Appreciation info in the Mojo Menace forums under the weekly Shmup Appreciation thread. With that out of the way, let's get on to this week's releases. Hitting physically this week, we got 2 games from Limited Run. One I missed last week is an open pre-order with an authorized reissue of the original classic turn-based strategy warfare game Worms. This will be releasing on the Game Boy, Super Nintendo, and Genesis for the first time in North America. The standard editions of the 16-bit version will go for $60 and Game Boy for $40, with special editions that come with pins, keychains, and a soundtrack CD going for $90 for the 16-bit versions and $80 for the Game Boy. This weekend Limited Run is also opening pre-orders for Postal Redux, a remake of the controversial first-person shooter from the 90s, with updated HD visuals and new add-on content going for $35 on PS4 and Switch. Moving on to digital releases, the Arcade Archives release this week is Rolling Thunder for the PS4 and Switch for $8. The Namco side-scrolling action title first hit arcades in 1986 and a few years later in 1989 on the NES, which a lot of us probably remember more of. This version features 3 local and international versions of the game, and it is worth noting the main arcade and NES versions are part of various Namco collections over the years. And you are currently listening to it for this week's background music. The Gmod Archives Plus release for this week for the Switch in Japan is Sengoku Field Combat for 600 yen. It is a port of the 2007 mobile game in Japan that is a sci-fi follow-up to the 1985 strategy war game Field Combat. Moving on, 3 games arrived this week on the Nintendo Switch Online Genesis channel for expansion pass subscribers. 2 of the games are classics from beloved developer Treasure. One is the isometric action RPG like Crusader, and the other is the intense run-and-gunner Alien Soldier. The third release for the Genesis channel this week, and appropriately enough, it is a shoot 'em up, is the Shmup Super Fantasy Zone. Hey, do you remember the short-lived 90s cartoon Stone Protectors and its licensed SNES brawler game? I don't, but Pico Interactive is trying to make sure we never forget it this week with its straight-up port available on the PC via Steam this week for $13. And that wraps it up for this week's Retro Recap. Back to you, John and Jayesh.
Josh.
Stone Protectors. You never played that one on the Super Nintendo?
I did not.
I believe that was based on the Trolls with the hair. That was such a big deal in the 90s. Seriously, they were like the characters that had the chests and they had the diamonds or whatever. And you can flick on the back and they would light up, like basically like, you know, kindling for a fire.
Yeah.
If you want to burn your house down, here's the toy. Here's the toy. Stone Protectors.
Yeah, maybe I've heard of it, but it's not ringing a bell at the moment. All right, so it's time for the game Spotlight, Josh. We're going to be talking about a brand new game that just came out this past week, and one that we mentioned last week during our new releases as being excited about. And this one is a game called Tunic, currently out for Xbox, Mac, and Windows. This game has been kind of in development for a long time, and we've been seeing footage of it for a couple of years now, and very excited about it since I first started seeing it. At first glimpse, it looks like an old school Zelda-like adventure, right?
Yep.
Top down, isometric though, so it's got that little kind of angle to it, and it looks a lot like, say, Link to the Past, or maybe the OG Zelda, but with new modern graphics. And you star as a little fox who is running around and killing blobs and giant pigs who are wearing armor and spears and shit. And you're trying to figure out why you're there, what you're doing, and what the whole point of it all is. So, Josh, this is one thing that I am kind of digging about this game, is that they drop you into this game and they don't tell you shit. You just start, you're a fox, you don't have a weapon, you just start wandering around, you get a stick, so you start beating blobs with sticks because the blobs are attacking you. And then you're like, okay, where do I go now? So you just kind of keep going and wandering until you find more stuff. Now, one thing that they do that's really neat is you and I are suckers for nostalgia, suckers for remembering games and stuff from our childhood. We used to find a lot out about a game by reading through the instruction manual.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. In this game, there is an in-game instruction manual, but you don't get all the pages right away. You have to find the pages.
Really?
And the pages, they don't tell you exactly what to do or where to go. It's pretty cryptic, and you kind of have to puzzle it out in your head and be like, okay, well, it looks like I should go here because there's like a list of things with like check boxes next to them. So, but it doesn't tell you where those places are. It just says, go to the east, or it just says East Dungeon, and then it says like Guardian Camp or something, Guard Camp or something like that. And you're like, well, I guess I better find these places and start checking them off. And then it tells you like, okay, this item is for health. And you're like, oh, okay, that's what those things were. So as you play further into the game, you start collecting these instruction manual pages, and you start piecing the mystery of the game together. I know it is cliche and overdone to compare any game to the Dark Souls series, but fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. The level design in this game is reminiscent of playing a Dark Souls game where you get through an area and then maybe you find a shortcut or a hidden spot that kind of gets you around that area next time. So you don't have to go through it and beat all those fuckers again. There are like little campsites, kind of like the Dark Souls game, where if you're running low on energy, you go back to these sites, fill up with energy, and that's your checkpoint again. But all the enemies that you've defeated come back. All right. So that's the trade-off.
Right on. Sure.
So when you die, you lose all your items, or not your items, all your currency. And there's like a little ghost fox in that spot where you died. So if you want to get your currency back, you got to go back to where you died, collect your little ghost. So, very Dark Souls-ish in that regard.
Sure.
Also not easy at all. Like it's not like crazy hard. But there's quite a bit of challenge here. And you have to, for me, I streamed this the other night and I kept forgetting that I had items, like I kept forgetting that I picked up bombs, and I picked up like some TNT and some freeze bombs and stuff. And I kept going to this first boss and getting my ass handed to me. And after like 3 times, I'm like, you fucking idiot. You've got all these items. Why don't you use them? So sure enough, I chuck a thing of dynamite at him and he dies like right away. I'm like, God damn it. So anyway, stuff like that. You got to, it's not an easy game in it, but it's also a game that makes you think a little bit and remember, to use the resources you have.
Right.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I don't like about the game.
Uh-oh, here we go.
A lot of games these days are just choosing not to have an actual soundtrack, but rather have like ambient music or ambient sounds.
That's been a thing for quite a long time, though.
Yeah, it has. I don't care for this in this game.
Sure.
I'm like, this game would have. It's charming to look at mostly, and it's charming to play. If I had like some sort of Zelda music in the background, dum da 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 dum da da da, I'd be like, hey, let's go on an adventure, let's fucking kick some ass. But no, it's just like random ambient sounds in the background, and so for me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this and listen to a podcast while I play, because there's nothing here to listen to. The other thing is, I'm not a huge fan of these graphics. It looks like it was made with Unity. I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But it's got that very like polygonal graphics in a 2D environment kind of look to it that we've been seeing since the Xbox 360.
Right.
So for that, not crazy about it. I feel like they could have maybe stylized it a little more.
Sure.
So, but it's on Game Pass.
So there you go.
And so last week when we were talking about it, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is coming to Game Pass. Turns out they had not announced that it was,
Really?
and they just kind of shadow dropped it on Game Pass. So maybe I've got some sort of, sixth sense, some sort of vision, maybe. So stick with me, kid. I'll show you the way.
Yeah, you got that sixth sense. It is cool though. I have not heard the game. I have not heard much about it. I saw you were streaming it the other night, and while some of the stylized graphics and stuff, and there's the idea of yet another Zelda or Newtopia clone.
Yeah, there you go.
Out there. Because man, there's just so many of these. It seems like every couple months it's like, oh, this is just like Zelda. You'll really like it. Oh, you should try this. It's just like Zelda. The one thing that you said there, though, that sounds really intriguing is the idea of an in-game instruction manual where you kind of unlock bits and pieces of it, and then it kind of unfolds the story and gives you tips and tricks on where to go next. I love that. Like, that concept is super cool. That sounds like a really fun idea, because there's nothing more exciting than when in our childhood when we had to like literally buy Nintendo Power to be able to figure out how to beat Castlevania 2 or play through certain characters or figure out a strategy, and it's like you'd wait a month for the strategy to come out in a magazine, or you go to school and talk to your friends. There was no online like, let's look up a game fact. I'm sick of this shit. Like, so that's a cool concept. I think I'd definitely give it a shot.
It is
at
neat.
The right price.
Yeah, and if you got Game Pass, there's really no reason not to just download it and check it out. I was playing it through
actually, I do have Game Pass. Shit, I forgot about
that. So I was just playing it through the cloud streaming feature on my computer. Worked great, like ran beautifully. So
that's crazy.
And I've played it a little bit on my phone with the Kishi controller. So like looks like a Switch basically. Runs great. It's kind of the perfect game for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that is
cool.
Tunic. And Josh, it's time for the last question. All right. You unknowingly alluded to the last question. Josh, I want to know, what is your favorite Zelda like?
Oh, Jesus. What does that mean? Just a game that takes that formula?
Yeah, it kind of takes the Zelda formula. You can compare it to Zelda. Maybe it's got like a top-down, kind of vibe to it, or maybe it's even a 3D game that plays similar to like Ocarina of Time or something like that. So
sure, I guess I'd say Newtopia too, because why not? Newtopia kicks ass. It's a great game. It's got a good soundtrack. It's fun. Newtopia 1 and 2, it gets a lot of shit. People are always like, oh my god, it's just like Link to the Past. Listen, fucko. Newtopia 1 came out before Link to the Past. The subject, the source material that they had was Zelda 1, and that's it. And I think Legend or Golden Axe Warrior, and then it was Newtopia. Yeah. It's like, whoa, it's a lot of like Zelda. Dude, Nintendo totally took ideas from Newtopia to do Link to the Past. I'm telling you, it's true.
Right on. Well, I would say for me, it's either Alundra for the PS1.
That's a good game.
Fucking good game. Or 3D Dot Game Heroes for the PS3.
Oh yeah,
that's a cool game. Doesn't get enough like respect, and I feel like they really got to re-release that on a modern console. Put that on the Switch or something. I think that would sell really well on the Switch.
I agree.
But that's just me. What is your favorite Zelda-like, listeners? Let us know. You can go to MoJoMenace.com where we have forums. You can click on the forums link, or our Discord chat. You can click on the link there to get to our Discord chat. And we've also got merch. Man, we've been selling Intergalactic Appreciation Month shirts. So come hang out with us on the Discord and talk about Shmup Month, man. I've been having a good time. This might be my favorite Shmup Month we've ever done. Just because it's like every day somebody's playing shmups. The score chases that Dale's been putting together have been super fun. This past week we've been playing Gigawing, which has been great. And all of a sudden, like this week especially, people have really been coming out and posting some crazy scores on Gigawing. I thought I had it in the bag, and then all of a sudden Dave just like doubled my score, which was awesome. So anyway. Other than that, you can find us probably, if you're watching us, you're probably watching us on youtube.com/MoJoMenace, or you're streaming our Twitch stuff, twitch.tv/MoJoMenace. And there I also host all the Shmup Month channels like Pickle Friction, GF Gruel, and Josh. Where can they find you?
If you'd like to continue the conversation with me on the Twitterverse, of course, you can hit me up at _Joshua Turbo. Don't forget the underscore, as it is the most important underscore in all of the internet.
Well, that is it for this week. We will see you next week. Thumbs up, Josh. All right, here we go.